What's happening? What's happening with it? Y'all already know what it is. You're tuned in to another episode of Everything Boxing. There you go, talking that boxing again. Yeah. What's happening with it, everybody? Make sure when you come in the building, jump in the comments and let me know you in the building. We definitely cooking today. We got a lot to cook on. And we in here. We got my man Macadose, Mac of the South in the building. Salute. We got the Queen Sheena is in the building. Number one to hit the like button. Yeah. Ty Swindle in the building. What's happening with it? Johnny Q in the building. My man, Light Skin Business. DP Rocker off in the building. Detroit, BC. Mike C in the building. Kawhi Elliott. Brandon House. What's happening with it? Straight from that Detroit. Mike C. Ty Swindle straight out there. ATL in the building. Big Block in the building. John Kramer with the 2 kilos on his neck, and he didn't change his little picture, his Facebook avatar. Mr. Mechanical, what's happening with it? What it do? Macadose, Mac of the South in the building. You see who else I missed? And like I said, as y'all come in the building, make sure that you hit the like button. Jump in the comments. Let me know you're in the building. We got things to cook on today. We got things to cook on. We got things to talk about. And let's get to it. I said, I know they sending the notifications out slow, and I know most of them they not sending out, but we still gonna cook. Road running Wheezy 38. What's happening with it? You got a hell of a name on you. Yeah, we definitely finna cook. Dallas King 79. What it do? Yeah. So first thing, let's get it started. We got some action this weekend. To me, the one that's going to take the throne at 135-pound division, Shakur Stevenson, is about to get in the ring once again this weekend. I know a lot of people don't like to hear that, but Shakur Stevenson is going to be the last one standing at 135 when all the smoke cleared. That's my opinion. John Norrie, what's happening with it, man? I was seeing you over there doing your thing in the debate last night, Yeah. Yeah, it's fights this weekend. But I want to put y'all up on some game real quick. So we seen Anthony Joshua fight last weekend, right? We seen Anthony Joshua, and a lot of people were shitting on Anthony Joshua. The UK was really shitting on Anthony Joshua for the performance he put on last weekend. I didn't have no problem with it, I seen him working on some things. I seen him improve on some things. I seen him use his jab more. I also seen him trying to figure some things out, still thinking, he was still thinking a lot, and some things wasn't just coming, some things wasn't just flowing because he's still trying to get used to his new trainer. But he got really, really shitted on by them, by them white folks over there in the UK. Let's just keep it real. They don't like him anyway. You know what I'm saying? They only like you when you're on top. Them dudes over there in the UK, they was only liking Anthony Joshua when he was on top. I remember when they all turned on Anthony Joshua. See, y'all forget, they turned on Anthony Joshua, right? When he stood up for his people. When he stood up for black people a few years ago, when all that shit was going on, they didn't like that. They turned on Anthony Joshua immediately. But now, they're carrying it on. And they saying that Anthony Joshua is a shot fighter. He's this and he's that. But the fight that people still want to see is Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder. Well, We now know that fight ain't happening no time soon. Eddie Hearn, he's come out and he said the fight that he wants to put on next is a rematch between Anthony Joshua and Dillian White. I think that's a good warm-up fight for Anthony Joshua. It's a good warm-up fight because if they're going around saying that he's not ready for Wilder or Fury or any of these other fighters on the top level that's right there, if they saying that he's not ready for him, a good warm-up fight is go out there, beat the shit out of slew-footed Dillian White. He already stopped Dillian White back in the day. You know what I'm saying? I see him doing it again. He'll have a second full camp with Derrick James. And Anthony Joshua, he can still do some things. It's mental with him. That's what it is with him. It's mental. He can still do some things. And now we know that he ain't got to knock you out. He can outbox you. You know what I'm saying? He can outbox you. He don't have to knock you out. Might not be exciting like we want to see, but I think Anthony Joshua, he still got an upside as long as he put the work in. Let me see who I missed in the building. Let me get to y'all. Johnny Q, what's happening with it? Who else I missed? I missed let me see. Terrell Barnes in the building. What it do? Bong in the building. He said, I'm going to be tripping too hard on the mushrooms tomorrow. Hey, man, do you? D1, what's happening with it? Coach Amber in the building. She says, no notification. How late am I? You're not that late. They I don't think they're really sending out my notifications like that today. But you know how they do. We in the building though. Farid, what's happening with it? Keith Johnson, what it do? Let me see. Mike C in the building. He said Derrick James said AJ coming back to Dallas in 2 weeks to get right back to work. They locked in. That's what I like to hear, And it shows me how serious are you about trying to climb back to the top? How serious are you about trying to, mesh with Derrick James? And if he is back, 2 weeks is next week, right? So if he back within the next couple of weeks with Derrick James, living in Dallas, getting it in, we know that AJ is serious. He's not playing around. He's serious about his business. D1 says All Access episode 2 is tonight. They only having 2 episodes, I believe, right? They need to have more. That shit should have been a weekly thing like they used to do. They should have had at least probably like 6 episodes. But yeah, I think they should have did more with the All Access. 2 episodes ain't enough, And plus, like I said, all of these fighters, to me, that was on pay-per-view with PBC, they was flourishing even, and we know this fight is a big fight. This is probably one of the only fights that is not affected by being on Showtime. But I seen a lot of these big pay-per-views that should have been bigger than what they were. They were affected because they were on Showtime and all the advertisement, a lot of the advertisement was on Showtime. When these fighters were fighting on Fox, they was getting a lot more exposure. They was getting exposure at the, college football games, the NCAA, just national TV. But this is one fight to where this is probably one of the only fights that's been on Showtime pay-per-view that I can say is really not affected by that, because Gervonta Davis and Ryan Garcia, they reach a whole different audience, they know how to work the Twitter and the Instagram and the TikTok and all of that stuff. So they reaching audiences that these other fighters, they don't even try to reach. Errol Spence and Terence Crawford, they not trying to go out there and reach, the audience on TikTok and all of that. They got like a little bubble they stay in. And that's, that's on them. Yeah, like when EJ pulled up at the Cowboys game and stuff like that, because that was what Fox had them doing that type of advertisement. And y'all smash the like button. Smash on the like button for me. It's free. Don't cost nothing. So make sure that y'all definitely hit the like button if you're in the building and if you're just coming into the building. D1 says, I hear the argument, belts don't matter. I really do. It's a mark of greatness. You got to fight for glory, especially when you're rich. Look, man, this is the thing. Fans, fighters, promoters, all of the above, they try to change the tune and the narrative depending on who have the belts. That's just what it is, we all see it. Devin Haney had the belts. Belts don't matter. Shakur Stevenson, when he had the belts at the other weight division, all them guys around him, the fighters around him, the belts all of a sudden didn't matter. You know what I'm saying? Gervonta Davis, he have a regular title. Well, that regular title means something. He is the regular champion. You see what I'm saying? It just all depends. It looks like to me that these guys want to pretend like that the belts don't matter when it comes to a pure boxer. You know what I'm saying? Somebody that they know they're going to have a hard time beating in a 12-round fight. All of a sudden now the belts don't matter. And it's a popularity contest. That's all it is. You know what I'm saying? Whether you want to admit it or not, boxing has become a popularity contest. Why, like, say for instance, Triple G and Canelo Alvarez, right? Triple G and Canelo Alvarez. Why was people even wanting to see that when Triple G, he had been looking like shit. He ain't looked good in a long time. He's 40 years old, and Canelo Alvarez already had beat him 4 years prior to that. You knew what the outcome was going to be, but it sold because both fighters are popular, not because of the product that they're going to get in the ring. You mean to tell me that Triple G and Canelo Alvarez did bigger numbers than David Benavidez and Caleb Plant? Why? How does Triple G and Canelo Alvarez do bigger numbers than David Benavidez and Caleb Plant? Because it's a popularity contest. Why haven't they come out speaking to David Benavidez and Caleb Plant? I haven't heard any pay-per-view numbers on David Benavidez and Caleb Plant. Why is that? I haven't even heard anybody asking about the pay-per-view numbers for David Benavidez and Caleb Plant. And you know a funny thing about that? Rick Glazier haven't even come out and said anything about the pay-per-view numbers for David Benavidez and Caleb Plant. But you know what? If David Benavidez was a black fighter and Caleb Plant was a Mexican fighter or a black fighter, I bet you I bet you, I'll be more than guarantee you that Rick Glazier, he would have came out with his fake numbers that he always do, shitting on the fight. Now, I'm wondering, I got myself wondering, how did David Benavidez and Caleb Plant pay-per-view numbers do? Because they ain't said shit about that. Like, they haven't said one thing about that. We haven't got no reports on what the live gate did. We didn't get no reports on how many tickets were sold, and we didn't get any reports on the pay-per-view numbers. And usually, that shit is all over the YouTube and the internet. Shit crazy. Paul Carrick, what's happening with it? Let me see what y'all talking about. Catman 78, what's happening with it? 785. Trackman 87, what's happening with it? He said, I'll be shocked if Devin is ringside tomorrow night for Shakur. Well, where is that fight at? That fight is in Jersey, so where is it? I think that fight happened in Jersey, so Devin, he training, so I wouldn't really expect him to be ringside because he in the middle of training. Now, if it was in Vegas, I expect him to be ringside. I don't even really know where that fight is at. I said Jersey, but don't quote me on that. D. Freeman, what's happening with it? Dwayne Freeman in the building. Coach Hammer says, I think it did well. It might have did well. I'm not saying that it did good or bad. I'm just saying that they ain't said nothing about it. D1 says, I heard that the Plant Benavidez 10th at like 60,000 subs. I don't recall where I seen it. Yeah, I don't. Come on now. Yeah, Jay Grant. I don't care if the, you know what I'm saying? I actually do care. I do care if Caleb Plant and David Benavidez did good numbers because I wanted to do good numbers. Y'all can't just drop numbers in the, you know what I'm saying, in the chat. Real talk. Because unless you got a link with a credible source, unless it's a credible source that's saying they did 30 to 60K or 60K or whatever that is, I haven't seen nothing come out from any sources that's credible like that. But I want the fight to do well because it's a fight that'll show me that, okay, boxing is kind of coming back. People now paying for good fights when they get good fights. But if it only does 60K, that is a black eye on you, the fans, because that means that y'all watched it but stole it. And that's a horrible look on boxing. If y'all are getting great fights, the whole card was fire, and you still stole it, don't expect to get no motherfucking Errol Spence and Terence Crawford or none of that shit if you stole that event. And if that event only did 30,000 to 60,000, that ain't nothing to be bragging about. Bong, I don't know what you talking about. Like, I don't know what you saying. I don't know what you talking about. But if you make one more weird comment in my chat, you got to go. Now, I'm going to let you chill for right now because I don't understand what that was that you said. All I seen is like monkeys and I don't know what you talking about, dog. So, like I said, I don't even understand what you're saying. Specs in the building. What's happening with it? We see. Bonton South, D-Town, what it do? And y'all smash the like button as you come in the building. Michael Ray, too. What's happening with it? Michael Ray 2 says Benavidez versus Plant was a great night of boxing. For boxing. It was. But it's going to be a horrible night for boxing if we find out that the pay-per-view numbers was horrible and y'all stole the fight. Because if only 60,000 people, and I'm not saying that's true at all. I'm just saying, if only 30 to 60,000 people bought that fight for real, something is wrong with y'all. And I'm not saying nobody specifically. I'm talking about supposed to be boxing fans as a whole. And you ain't gonna get shit else. A lot of them fights, because a lot of, like, I don't want to hear motherfucking complaining about what we don't get in boxing and we don't get this if you still stealing all the great fights that they put on. You ain't never, if they put on great fights and you steal it, you don't have a right. You need to sit the fuck back and shut up. Straight up. You don't got a right to complain about nothing. Because they gave you what you wanted and you still stole it. That's how I feel about the situation. So hopefully the fight did do well. Hopefully the pay-per-view did do well. Nick J says, we the main ones want to tell our financials to the world. They may not want folks to know their business like that. Yeah, I mean, but see, traditionally, Nick J, and if you're talking about the pay-per-view numbers for Plant and Benavidez, traditionally, they always put out the pay-per-view numbers, especially when they good. You know what I'm saying? We did this amount of numbers. We broke this gate, and we did this gate, and we sold this many pay-per-views. They always gonna put that shit out if it's good. Okay, Bong Bong, you got to go. Now I see that you just in here trying to start shit and trolling. Hey, somebody clap him. Get him up out of here. Get Bong Bong up out of here. Get Bong Bong gone. Get him gone. He need to go now. Okay, all right, G5. My man G5 Gabe in the building. What it do? Salute to G5. Now, let's cook, right? Let's cook. Steven Espinoza, he came out recently and he says that he is going to make a major push to get Canelo Alvarez back over to Showtime to fight David Benavidez. He's going to make a major push for that fight. Canelo, he said he trying to offer Canelo Alvarez big money, and they gonna push for him to fight David Benavidez. Right? Next, after this John Ryder, they gonna push for him to fight David Benavidez. And y'all smash the like button, you know. So it's free, it don't cost nothing. So they said if they can't get Canelo Alvarez, then the fight that they're going to be looking to make is David Benavidez versus David Morrell. But let's go back to this Canelo Alvarez because he's putting it out there. We're going to offer him a ton of money to come fight David Benavidez. Now, we know before that he turned down over $50 million, right? And I think it was David Benavidez that's how much he was going to make, over $50 million if he had to fought David Benavidez. Turned it down. I think Jamal Charlo was on there. But when they spoke to the management, David Benavidez's manager was like, he was Canelo Alvarez when they was doing the back and forth with him. He was okay with fighting Jamal Charlo. He was cool with that. He was like, okay, cool. When they put David Benavidez on the back end for a lot more money, that's when he backed out. So we already know before he wasn't willing to take over $50 million to fight David Benavidez, and this was guaranteed money, right? This is what they was guaranteeing him, over $50 million. So he was probably gonna come out when everything was said and done he was going to come out probably with $70 million in his pocket. But now I look back and I said it was a smart move, because now Canelo Alvarez, he can make even more money fighting David Benavidez now. Now David Benavidez has a bigger name now. So if he would have probably pocketed, 60, 70 some million then, imagine how much money he can make from a David Benavidez fight now. That fight, if they make that fight, and I'm going out and I'm letting y'all know right now, that is the biggest fight in boxing. If they make that fight, it is the biggest fight. It's bigger than Errol Spence and Terence Crawford. It's bigger than Gervonta Davis and Ryan Garcia. If they make that fight, that is the biggest fight in boxing. Now, if they do exactly what they say they're going to do, they go after Canelo Alvarez on Showtime and give him an offer, right? All that money, and he turns it down, he's ducking. Straight up and down. He's ducking. Because I don't want to hear that you're trying to get a rematch with Bivol. For one, y'all talking about rematching Bivol at 168. You didn't fight Bivol at 168. You didn't lose to Bivol at 168 pounds. So you are already saying that, right? And this is Canelo Alvarez's words. He's saying that he already wants Bivol in a rematch, right? But he's talking about 168. And then he goes on to say, but if Bivol is trying to, act like he's the boss and start trying to demand all type of stuff, we'll just go elsewhere. So when they ask him, well, where else are you going to go? He still never said that he was willing to go seek out a fight with David Benavidez. What else is there for you to do besides fight another fucking bum if you're not fighting Bivol? Why couldn't you just say, well, if Bivol don't want to take the fight, if he acting crazy, he demanding too much, and I don't even know why he said if Bivol is demanding too much. When has Bivol ever been known to demand too much? You know what I'm saying? Are you meaning that if Bivol is demanding you fight him at 175, at the same weight that you lost to him at? Is that what you mean by if he starts demanding too much? You know what I'm talking about? Let's keep it real. That's what you mean by demanding too much. If he asks you, no, I'm not going down to 168. We're going to fight at the same weight division I beat you at last time. Right? But anyway, his next words should have been like, well, then we'll go and look at David Benavidez because he is the mandatory for the third time. I am undisputed. I'm holding all the belts hostage at 168 because that's what he's doing. I'm holding all the belts, the titles hostage at 168. He is the mandatory because that John Ryder bullshit, he fought John Ryder real quick, right? You know what I'm saying? Anytime it's a mandatory or a supposed mandatory that has no chance in hell of beating him, he'll fight them real quick. But David Benavidez has been his mandatory on 3 separate occasions, ain't never fought him, right? And he still wouldn't say, okay, well, if me and Bivol can't get it on, I'll fight my mandatory David Benavidez. Never said that once. They're trying to put words in Canelo Alvarez's mouth saying, oh man, Canelo, you like a challenge, huh? You like a challenge, huh? And then they'll put out the news saying, Canelo Alvarez finally accepts David Benavidez fight. Lies. I'm watching these interviews. I'm hearing everything. I'm seeing everything. Canelo Alvarez never once said that he'll fight David Benavidez. They kept pressing him, and they're like, yeah, Canelo, you're this and you that, and you love a challenge, huh? Yeah, you would want to fight David Benavidez because you love a challenge, huh? And his response was like, yeah, I love a challenge. And then they ran off with the news Canelo Alvarez says that he wants to fight David Benavidez. He finally calls out David Benavidez. Really? So y'all coercing him, telling him that he loves a challenge and he's always loved a challenge. And then his response is, yeah, I love a challenge. And then your next words is, well, yeah, you'll fight David Benavidez because you love a challenge. And he says, yeah, I love a challenge. Now the news is he calls out David Benavidez finally. I mean, y'all funny. You know what I'm saying? Dudes is funny as hell. I ain't gonna call no names, but y'all know who it is. Lord to the game, boxing talk. Kwame East in the building. What's happening with it? In the super chat. I thought the super chat was broke because ain't nobody supporting today. You know what I'm saying? And salute for Kwame bringing in that super chat refresher. But anyway, McAdoo says Canelo keeps saying that David Benavidez never did anything. Right, bro. They trying to coerce this man into saying that he'll fight David Benavidez when he ain't never said that shit one time. He never came out and straight up said that shit. He never once came out and said, I want to fight him. Never. So, with the offer that PBC is saying that they willing to offer him, right? They didn't put a number out there, but they said they willing to, they going to go at him hard to try to make the David Benavidez fight. We already heard David Benavidez in his pop say, hey, we'll pretty much fight Canelo for a very, very low ball. We don't even want a lot of money to fight Canelo. We just want to fight to be able to beat him and to show everybody that we're better than him. Because we know that if we beat Canelo Alvarez, then we arguably become the face of boxing. We take over the throne. We become undisputed. We take his spot. So we don't really care about all that money. We ain't finna ask about for a lot of money. You know what I'm saying? We'll get that shit in the rematch. We'll get a lot of money in a rematch. We ain't caring about none of that right now. So once Showtime do make this hard offer to Canelo Alvarez to fight Benavidez, you know he's going to be making a whole shit ton of money. Way more money than he will fighting Bivol. And like I said, we don't even know if Bivol is going to fight him because Bivol got his mindset on undisputed. Bivol probably want to fight at 175, not 168. So we're going to see. Now, I'm not putting it past Canelo Alvarez and his team to try to give Bivol an offer that he can't refuse. You know what I'm saying? To go down to 168 and fight him because I think Canelo's confident. He thinks that he could beat Bivol at 168. He thinks that he could be able to drain Bivol, right? Trick him into coming to 168 and he can beat him. It might turn out worse for him at 168. And like I said, if I'm Bivol, you fighting at 175. You fight me, you don't run nothing. You got your ass beat, you're not running the show no more. Knockout, what's happening with it? Michael Ray says Canelo and Bud are the most scary champions in history. They up there. Bama J, what it do? Renee Box Young in the building. What's happening with it? Aiden says Canelo scared to get whooped by him, and he said he's scared to lose his fans to the Mexican monster. Yeah, because you know that's what's gonna happen, bro. Like, respectfully, a lot of the fans of Canelo's, that's Mexican fans, they are fanatics. You feel me? They fanatics. But see, let me take y'all down memory lane. A lot of those same diehard Canelo Alvarez fans that are Mexicans, they hated Canelo Alvarez before. Remember when they thought that Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. was going to be that dude? See, I remember way back then. They was calling Canelo Alvarez an Irish man. They was calling him white. They was saying that he wasn't a real Mexican. All of that shit. Those same fans that fall out and faint and cry over Canelo Alvarez right now today, those same fans were shitting on him before. They didn't like Canelo. Then all of a sudden, the guy that they were rooting for, that they was behind 1,000%, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., he turned out to not be shit. Rene Bachchan lives in Mexico and he says facts. Exactly. My man Aiden says facts. I'm not bullshitting y'all, right? Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., he turned out to not be shit. He turned out to be a bust. And then what you saw is all those same fans that were shitting on Canelo Alvarez start gaining that fan base. Now all of a sudden, they'll tell you that they've been a Canelo Alvarez diehard fan for their whole entire life. Lies. So what's going to happen when David Benavidez beat Canelo Alvarez fans? Those same Mexican fans that are now calling David Benavidez, he's not a real Mexican. He's Ecuadorian because his mama is from Ecuador. We don't count him as a real Mexican. He could never be a real Mexican. Those same fans, once he beats Canelo Alvarez, hold on. You're going to wake up one day and all of a sudden you're going to see David Benavidez with an outrageous fan base, and them same fans that was talking shit about David Benavidez, saying that he wasn't a real Mexican and he ain't this and that. It's going to be Mexican flags, David Benavidez flags, all of them going to be David Benavidez diehard fans. And David Benavidez, hold on, will take the place of Canelo Alvarez. That's how it's going to go down. You know what I'm saying? They're going to jump off the Canelo Alvarez bandwagon and jump onto the David Benavidez bandwagon. And they're going to pretend like they was never a big, huge fan of Canelo Alvarez in the first place. Real talk. That's what's going to happen. And I'm here for all of it. Watch and see. And Canelo knows that. Canelo knows that. That's why Canelo is afraid to fight David Benavidez, because he knows that. That's why Canelo's like, I ain't fighting another Mexican. Why would you say that you're not fighting another Mexican? Because if you're not fighting another Mexican, that means that you're taking food off of their plate. Real talk. All of those black fighters that Leonard Ellaby, not Tank Davis, but Leonard Ellaby, don't want Tank Davis to fight because he's saying that we all coming, we all pulling out the same pot. Well, Leonard Ellaby taking money and food off of all those black fighters' tables. Just like Canelo Alvarez saying that he don't want to fight no more Mexicans. He taking food off of their table. Right? He playing keep away. But he's saying that because he don't want to lose to another Mexican. If he loses to another Mexican, well, then they take his fan base. His fan base is going to trot right over to David Benavidez. Watch and see. That's what he know the game. That's what he did to Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. Those fans wasn't Canelo Alvarez fans. They was fans of Chavez Jr. And then they trotted right over there to the Canelo Alvarez bandwagon. The same fans that call them white and a fake Mexican. Smooth Groove, what it do? Straight from that Oak Cliff in the building. He says there's only a few are stand up and real on this YouTube, and you just happen to be one of them, man. I appreciate that. And that's 100, man. And my man Renee Box Young says facts. That's why I don't fall into the man fan stuff. Real talk. Real shit. Dub right side, ETB said ETB he had to spit my watermelon seeds out. Just keeping it real, you know. I ain't forget this shit. I seen what it was. And y'all know how I know? Because I was a huge Canelo Alvarez fan. And I was in Facebook groups back then getting into it with other Mexican fans that was shitting on Canelo Alvarez back then. Real talk. I'm not finna sit here and lie to you. I was a huge Canelo Alvarez fan. I wasn't a fan when he fought Floyd Mayweather because, you know, of course, I was rooting for Floyd Mayweather. But Canelo Alvarez, when he coming up through the game and he doing his thing, I was a Canelo Alvarez huge fan. Arguing with all the Mexican fans that were saying he a fake Mexican and he ain't shit and calling him an Irish man and all of that shit. Because I was like, man, this motherfucker can fight. I never liked Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. That's the motherfucker I didn't like. I always thought he was some shit. He had a trumped up record. He had 50-something fights and didn't fight nobody. And then as soon as he got in there with Sergio Martinez, he got his ass beat. I always knew he wasn't shit. Oh, yeah. So, A1 Hoops on. What it do? What it do? Said, check your IG. Let me see. Okay. Man, I'm definitely gonna try to hop on there with you, but you know, the kids gonna be loud as hell. The kids gonna be loud, but I'm gonna definitely try to, because you know I gotta see that game. But I'll probably just hop in there with you and put my joint on mute because you know the kids be loud. But yeah, I'm definitely trying to. We can't miss it. You know I ain't missing that game for sure. My IG, I'll post the IG on I'll post it up right now. But yeah, hold on. Find it in here. It's right there scrolling across the bottom of the screen. So yeah, that's my IG at the bottom of the screen. The Lakers, big dose. The Lakers and the Suns game. The Lakers gotta win this game though. We fuck around and lose this game, it's gonna be bad. We might not even get to the playoffs if we mess around and lose this game. But so moving along, right? So Canelo Alvarez, he for sure gotta make this happen, right? But he kind of like at the point right now to where it seems like he'll duck you blatantly, and he don't even care what the fans say. He don't care what the fans say. He gonna duck. He don't give a damn. So, man, we'll see. I don't see him fighting David Benavidez. I could be wrong, but I don't see him fighting David Benavidez. He kind of at that point to where he already has so much money You know what I'm saying? Canelo Alvarez, he live in Mexico. That motherfucker a billionaire in Mexico money. You know what I'm saying? He getting paid in, well, the US dollar ain't really about shit no more. But he's still damn near a billionaire in Mexico. He probably is a billionaire in Mexico, right? Not probably. I'm pretty sure he is, right? He got so much money that he pretty much moving how he want to. He'll turn down a whole bunch of money. He'll turn down 60 mil to make 40. An extra 20 mil. He on that time right now. You feel me? He on that type of time. But he'll turn down an extra 60 mil, extra 20 mil. Real talk. But yeah. Everybody smash the like button. We gonna move on right now, right? Because my man Shakur Stevenson is fighting tomorrow night. Y'all hear me? You know what I'm saying? Y'all hear me loud and clear. My man Shakur Stevenson is fighting tomorrow night, making his debut at 135. But last week, this whole week, I've been hearing boxing fans say that Shakur Stevenson is pretty much ducking. Shakur Stevenson ducking Devin Haney. Right? Me and my partner BFTV, we had a debate about this on Knockout Boxing Channel last night. Shakur Stevenson is ducking Devin Haney. Shakur Stevenson is ducking Frank Martin. I even heard him say that Shakur Stevenson. Wait. Let me clarify. What my man BF said. BF didn't say ducking. He said ducked. Shakur Stevenson ducked Devin Haney. Shakur Stevenson, I've heard from other people. Shakur Stevenson is ducking Frank Martin. Shakur Stevenson ducked Gervonta Davis. That's what I'm hearing, right? Cassandra Mason in the building. Omega Red in the building. Y'all late. Jermaine King, what's happening with it? So, Shakur Stevenson is ducking all the top guys. That's what y'all saying. Y'all saying that Shakur Stevenson is ducking all of the top guys. I'm saying that's complete bullshit. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying that is complete bullshit. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm telling y'all, all of that is a motherfucking lie. Shakur Stevenson ain't ducked nobody. Now, where we start at? Well, let's start with the Shakur Stevenson is ducking Frank Martin. I had old boy come on my channel the other day, right? And tell me that Shakur Stevenson is definitely ducking Frank Martin. He's afraid of Frank Martin. I made a video about this. I had a lot of people in my comment section telling me that Shakur Stevenson is ducking Frank Martin. He is afraid of Frank Martin. He ducked him. He could have fought Frank Martin and he didn't fight him. I don't know where people getting their information at. I don't know what the fuck going on with these dudes in their head, but we gonna start with the Frank Martin and Shakur Stevenson ducking Frank Martin. That's what we gonna start with. So, with that being said, hold on real quick. What I'm gonna do is we just gonna listen to what Frank Martin had to say about the situation himself, right? So we gonna listen to see what Frank Martin had to say about Shakur Stevenson, and if Shakur Stevenson is ducking him. Here we go. Hold on. Okay, here we go. This is what Frank Martin has to say, right? Because everybody running around saying that Shakur Stevenson is ducking him. Listen to him.
Really have to talk about, Errol recently, went on Twitter, was kind of talking about you and Shakur. But he also said that he doesn't necessarily want you guys to fight right now. That's more so like a big money fight. Do you kind of look at it? You look at it like that same way?
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, ain't no sense in like if it's fights that need to be made, let's make the fights when it's like when we gonna get some money. Belts on the line and we gonna get paid. You know what I mean? Like, don't make sense. Like me, I'll fight though. I'll fight. That's one thing about me. But like as a business sense, it makes sense to take a fight. Why take that fight and get fucking light, like low meal, like some low M's, and you can wait a little bit. We both got belts or whatever it may be, and then we fight.
So, but y'all said that Shakur Stevenson was ducking Frank Martin. Frank Martin clearly said it don't even make sense for us to fight right now. How's he ducking me when it doesn't even make sense for us to fight right now? So that narrative is debunked because the fighter, right, that y'all saying is being ducked, if he comes out and tell y'all he's not being ducked, that don't even make sense to make the fight right now. His promoter, Errol Spence, he's saying that, it don't really make no sense right now, but down the line, we want to see Shakur Stevenson. That shit is null and void. So we already, let's knock that out the way, right? Now, where we want to go? We want to go to Tank Davis? Because y'all said Shakur Stevenson, he was ducking Tank Davis also. That where we're going to go next? Because Shakur Stevenson, how is he ducking Tank Davis when he ain't even fought at 135 yet? Was Gervonta Davis going to fight Shakur Stevenson right off the rip? No. Has Gervonta Davis ever said, I want to fight Shakur Stevenson next? No. Gervonta Davis, we know his focus is on Ryan Garcia. Shakur Stevenson always said, yeah, I want to fight Tank. That'll be a great fight down the line. I think me and Tank will be one of the best fights down the line. Now Shakur Stevenson is saying, look, I want the winner of Gervonta Davis and Ryan Garcia. That's my first option. If I can't get that, I want Devin Haney. So with that being said, how is he ducking Gervonta Davis? Somebody tell me. How did Shakur Stevenson? We already passed the Frank Martin because I just debunked that right there with Frank Martin's own words. So we're not even going to elaborate on that no more. But I want somebody to tell me, and then we're going to get to Devin Haney. But I want somebody to be able to explain to me, how is Shakur Stevenson ducking Gervonta Davis or ducked Gervonta Davis? Let me see. Let me read some of these comments to see if anybody able to tell me that. So, Jerome King, I'm going to get back to you because I'm pretty sure you was one of the ones that was talking about facts, BF. And like I said, BF, that's my guy. But I'm just saying what a lot of people were saying. So we ain't got to that yet. First, we got to get past Gervonta Davis. Then we're going to go to the Devin Haney. Because I know that you regurgitating that, Jerome King, because BFTB said that. Because BFTB was the only one that said that shit. None of y'all niggas were even thinking about that until BFTB said it. So I know you just regurgitating what you heard him say. But we're going to get back to that in a minute. And I mean, if you really want to go in, I mean, I don't have no problem with dropping the link for you. But we'll get to that. But right now, we're going to stay on Tank right now. Because they say that Shakur Stevenson ducked Gervonta Davis. Anybody got anything to say about that? Let me see. YK Mail says, laugh out loud. Y'all sound like y'all want Tank to fight 3 niggas at once. I don't even know how the fuck you make any sense. Like, where are you making any sense at? We're talking about fans saying that Shakur Stevenson ducked Gervonta Davis. And you come in here with a comment saying, y'all sound like y'all want Tank to fight like 3 niggas at once. How does your comment pertain to anything that we talking about right now? How does that your comment even make sense at all? A little bit of sense. And salute to my guy Tay D in that Cash App. Like, y'all gotta chill, man. That's why I be calling y'all Tankomaniacs. Cause ain't nobody even said nothing like that. And you coming in here on some whole just other shit that has nothing to do with nothing that we talking about. We talking about Shakur Stevenson and people saying that Shakur ducking everybody. And you coming in here talking about we want Tank to fight everybody. 3 niggas at one night. What are you talking about, dog? That's what I'm saying, bro. Y'all gotta chill with this motherfucking maniac love. But I didn't see any YK. I didn't see anybody in the chat say nothing about Tank Davis having to fight 3 niggas, and I didn't see nobody say that, bro. Y'all gotta chill with this, man. Let's stick to the topic. Let's stick on subject. Omega said, Keon, a lot of people are slow. Only half the planet is above average intelligence. Like, man, let's stay right here. Let's stay focused. We're talking about, I want somebody to come in here and tell me how Shakur Stevenson ducked Gervonta Davis. If that is, because a lot of people have said that. Okay? So ain't nobody got, okay, now we'll go to Devin Haney. If ain't nobody got nothing to say about Shakur Stevenson ducked Devin Haney, now we're going to go to Gervonta Davis. Now what I'm going to do, my man, is I'm going to scroll back up to what my man said, because now they also said that Shakur Stevenson ducked Devin Haney. He ducked Devin Haney. He's afraid of Devin Haney. He ducked him, right? My man BFTB said that last night to me. He said, well, he didn't say it to me. He said it, and then, I responded it, and me and him were going back and forth on that. Jerome King was in the chat saying facts, BFTB. That is a fact. So my man Jerome King, he regurgitated right now what BFTB said. He says, let me find his first comment. He says Shakur could have moved up to 35 with the WBO super stipulation. Right? Something that BFTB said, that BFTB came up with. He says, my question is, if he knew that he not make weight, why continue to go through the fight? And B, why did he not inform the WBO that he will move to fight, at 35, the 35 champion? Okay. So for one, right, the narrative was that Shakur Stevenson knew he wasn't going to make weight, right? He knew he wasn't going to make weight. So before he knew he wasn't going to make the weight in the Conceição fight, he should have just hollered at the WBC, petitioned to fight Devin Haney, and that Devin Haney fight would have happened because he petitioned to fight Devin. First of all, Shakur Stevenson said, I tried everything I could to make the weight. You know what I'm saying? The weight just wasn't coming off. I tried everything I could. I couldn't get them last, the last pound or two off. It wouldn't come off. So I think Shakur knows about his body more than you do. Like, can't no grown-ass man come and tell me, well, Shakur could have did this. And Shakur, how do you know what Shakur could have done to his body more than he knows himself? If y'all can prove that Shakur could have cut the weight, if there's a way to prove that, and y'all can prove it to me, I'll shut this shit down right now. You can't prove that. If Shakur Stevenson said that he couldn't make weight, he did everything he could to get those extra pounds off, and he couldn't do it, well, on that day, we're not talking about the week before that or right now or yesterday. We're talking about on that day that they weighed in, he's saying that he could not cut those pounds. That's just what it is. So it ain't no way months before he accepted the motherfucking Conceição fight that he was going to know that he wasn't going to be able to make 130 pounds no more. He didn't know that until maybe a day before the fight, the day of the weigh-in. Right? Also, why didn't Shakur Stevenson just petition the WBA or that's some bullshit. We all know that is bullshit. Ain't no fucking way that Shakur Stevenson would have been able to say, you know what? I know Devin Haney is in contract to fight George Kambosos. I know that Devin Haney is trying to get undisputed from George Kambosos. Now I know that Devin Haney has a rematch clause with George Kambosos that he has to go through with. You know what? I'm still going to petition the WBA. In Bob Arum in Top Rank, the WBA, they're just going to tell all motherfucking Kambosos to move aside, and they're going to make a fight between Shakur Stevenson and Devin Haney because I petitioned for it. Facts. That's what they're going to do, because I seen y'all in the comments, and salute to BF, because see, BF is very witty. BF is very witty. So I respect BF because that's what somebody that likes to debate does. They're going to come up with different things and weave and bob and weave their way out. They're going to see BF fuck a lot of y'all up because he'll get a lot of y'all to where y'all don't know what to say after that. And then you niggas in the comments, y'all, a lot of y'all can't think for yourself. Let's just keep it 100. And like I said, no disrespect to nobody, but a lot of y'all can't think for yourself. So the first thing that come out of your mouth is facts. Facts. Facts? Did you think for yourself? So if that is a fact, name me a time that has happened. Name me a time where a fighter was in a contract, right? A contract, then had a rematch that was already contracted, and another fighter was able to move up from a different weight class because he had a belt, petition for that fight, and just knock everybody else out the way, and that fight happened. Name me a time where that shit took place. Since these are facts, and niggas like to type in the comments and say facts and facts because they don't know how to think for themselves. Now what I'm going to do, since it's a fact, right? Ultraman, what it do? I see you. Now what I'm going to do, right? Since niggas was in the comments talking about facts, and I saw y'all in the comments. Oh man, that's a fact. He's ducking them. That's a fact. If he really wanted him, he's a fact. He ducked him. And I'm not talking about BF. I'm talking to y'all, right? Now, since it's a fact, I want y'all to come and grab this link and go ahead and prove that to me. I already gave y'all the upper hand, right? I laid out the groundwork for y'all. Now all you got to do is come up and prove those facts that you said were facts. And I'm going to pin the link right there. And so don't nobody grab the link but the niggas that saying that it is a fact and that Shakur Stevenson ducked Devin Haney. We quiet now? The link is right there. Y'all smash the like button, man. It's a lot of y'all in here that ain't smashed the like button. You know what I'm saying? Real talk. It's a lot of y'all in here that haven't smashed the like button. Yeah, get the likes up, you know. It's free. It don't cost you nothing. Get the likes up. All of a sudden, it ain't a fact no more. Earlier in the chat, it was a fact. Last night, it was facts. It was facts flowing all down motherfucking knockouts comments. It ain't a fact no more. Y'all mean to tell me y'all can't think for yourself no more? Cause I know if BF was in here, BF would come on this motherfucker in a minute. You know what I'm saying? He could be 1,000% wrong, but he gonna argue his shit. Now I want to know, can y'all on your own, can you prove that it's a fact on your own with your own voice? Because all of a sudden now everybody quiet. It ain't a fact no more. Oh, okay. But it ain't in it. I mean, come on now. Dirk Banks, turn your camera on. I need to see who you are. Yeah, you could go ahead and disconnect. Yeah. I guess don't nobody want no smoke now. It's cool when you can get shit off in the comment section. You know what I'm saying? Nobody want no smoke no more. It was all good in the comment section, but don't nobody want no smoke no more. It ain't no fact no more. So I guess it's safe to say that Shakur Stevenson never ducked Devin Haney. Another thing. Well, he didn't turn his camera on. He just, I told him to turn his camera on and he clicked out. So, like I said, I don't know him. So I need, I don't need no dang-a-lang swingers coming up in here on the camera. My man KG says, they not hitting that link, bro. But hey, salute to you, my dude, and salute to everybody that's in the chat, and salute to my man Big KG, Ken's Barbecue in the building. But you know what I'm saying, man? Like, the thing is, right? None of these fighters are ducking each other. Like when you talk about Shakur Stevenson, and I'm talking about those fighters, Shakur Stevenson, Devin Haney, and Frank Martin, ain't none of them dudes ducking each other. You know what I'm saying? How are they ducking each other? I mean, it sounds good for a narrative to be able to talk about if but that shit is some bullshit. Ain't none of them. Shakur Stevenson ain't never ducked nobody, for one. Omega says they sheep. Right. Sheep always need a leader. You know what I'm talking about? They can't really speak. They never going to be able to speak for themselves. But come on. Let's keep it 100. Like, Shakur Stevenson ain't never ducked nobody. Devin Haney ain't never ducked nobody. Frank Martin ain't never ducked nobody. Like, they've never ducked nobody. You cannot make an argument that has any validity to it saying that Shakur Stevenson ducked a fighter before. or saying that Devin Haney ever ducked a fighter before, or saying that Frank Martin ever ducked a fighter before. You can't make an argument. Like, I mean, BFTB can make an argument. Like I said, because BFTB, that's what he do. You know, he debates. You know what I'm saying? Like a lawyer, a defense attorney can know that that their client is 1,000% guilty, but they'll argue for their client knowing that they're guilty. You know what I'm saying? So BFTB, he is a debater, so he gonna do that. But I'm saying y'all, some of y'all got to think for y'allself. And you can't make that argument. You can't. I already shut that WBO shit down. Because if you can't tell me one time where that scenario happened, well, I'm not even trying to hear that shit. Oh, man, in the rule book, if you go to the rule book, and if you go to page 157 in the WBA rule book, it say, come on, man, this is boxing. Did we just crawl out of a tunnel and start watching boxing yesterday or today? We know boxing don't never go by the motherfucking rules. Omega says, by those rules, then everyone has ducked someone. It makes no sense. None at all. But like I said, I respect BF for coming up with that because it's witty. Like I know, like that's witty. You know what I'm saying? BF, that shit is witty. He came up with it. And a lot of people, they gonna get stuck because like we said, a lot of them motherfuckers is sheep. They ain't gonna be able to hold a conversation to speak on their own anyway. They damn sure can't debate. They just gonna get stuck. Broderick Hunter says, nah, the facts been updated. I'll get back to you. I don't know what you meant by that. D1 says, whatever Bob orders, do you guys understand how new the WBOs to boxing? He says to boxing, he made that sanctioning body up. Crazy. Sheena says, Keon said, yeah, okay. I'm catch y'all motherfuckers in my chat tomorrow and call you out. Nah, I wasn't gonna make it about the people in the chat, you know what I'm saying? But I'm seeing this as soon as my man BF said that shit, it was like facts. Now, as a man and my own man, right? I don't need nobody to tell me what to say or, I want to see if them dudes that said it was facts, if they can get up here and hold their own, right? Without having that string in their back being pulled. Can y'all hold y'all own without having that string in your back being pulled? That's all I want to know. Oh, Broderick said he was making fun of the sheep. Yeah. Because we all, BFTV, he can hold his own. Can y'all hold y'all own? Jerome King, man, turn your camera on in the background real quick so I can see that you ain't no dang-lang swanger. Anyway, but like I'm saying, I think we just getting out of hand with this ducking shit. You know what I'm saying? I think we getting out of hand with this ducking conversation. Everybody is ducking nowadays. You know what I'm saying? Everybody is ducking nowadays. This shit is crazy. Upper Echelon says, if ETB, BFTB, or KO debate, I sit back and watch. I don't say nothing. Most of these dudes, man, you get to debating and they trying to debate in the chat. I see cats that be trying to, I'll be watching knockouts debates all the time. You got dudes that are coming there and they trying to carry on a whole debate in the chat, but won't never get on the panel and debate nobody. Motherfuckers, the best debater in the chat, but ain't never willing to get on the panel and debate nobody. But you got everything to say in the chat. Yeah, man. That shit crazy. And like I said, this don't have nothing to do with BFTB because, like I said, I know that the motherfuckers that were saying facts, you don't even have the half a brain to come up with this shit yourself. If he hadn't said it, you would have never thought of that. Real talk. Dirk Banks, you got to turn your camera on real quick so I can see who you are. Then you can turn your camera off. I'm not going to, I ain't going to let nobody up here that ain't never been up here. And I don't know if you're going to come on, put your dang-a-lang on in the chat. You know what I'm saying? Okay, Jerome King, I see you. You good. You can turn it off now. You good. Yeah, I just had to make sure, you know what I'm saying, you was legit.
Oh, yeah, for sure. It's all good, man. And salute to you, ETB, man. You know, much respect to you and your platform, man. You know, I try to watch as much as I can, but, you know, I'm usually working during these hours, so that's why I'm not able to catch you as often as I like. But, you know what I'm saying? But salute to you and salute to what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? Much love to you.
No doubt.
You know what I'm saying? But now, I'm going to be up here because I'm going to give my stance, and it's a little different from BFTB's. Now, do I completely call Shakur Stevenson a duck? That's a bit of a stretch. No, that's a bit of a stretch. You know what I'm saying? I don't necessarily agree with that, but there are some questions that were presented that kind of makes you think, like, okay, what did really happen? You know what I'm saying? I mean, there were some questions there that make you think about it. Like, hey, like, because you brought up the point that Shakur Stevenson, you know, couldn't make the weight. Now, the question is, how long did he know that? Because like you said, no one knows his body better than him. I don't know how he loses weight. I don't know how he goes about losing his weight. None of us know that. But the thing is, how long did he know that? And we won't, unfortunately, none of us will know that. None of us will know that. But the thing is, if he himself did know prior to that fight, if he couldn't make the weight, then why wouldn't he invoke that WBO super clause that other WBO super champions have used to go up and fight that higher weight classes champion? That's all I'm saying. And then also, you know what I'm saying? And then that's why I said that was the first point. So why didn't he just get out of the fight if he knew before that he couldn't make the weight? Now this is all speculation. Now I'm not saying that he knew or he didn't know, because I'm the only person that will know that is Shakur Stevenson.
Mm-hmm.
But and then that was point A. So he could have gotten out of that fight if he did know, and he could have went up and fought the 35 champion, which would have been Devin. Now, of course, we know that Devin was busy with Kambosos in the second fight. Absolutely, we know that as well. But at the time in which he would have invoked that WBO super clause, he would have been the mandatory for Devin Haney now. You know what I'm saying? He would have been a mandatory for him now, and he would have stepped in front of Loma for the belts, is basically, if that makes sense. Now, the second thing is, and when I said B, yes, he could have went to the WBO and said, hey, I'm going to go up to 135. I'll take the fight with Conceição. That is if he knew he couldn't make the weight prior to that weigh-in. I'll take the fight with Conceição, but I'm not fighting for the belts. He can fight for the belt if he makes 130. So I'm just saying in either of those scenarios, that could have happened. You know what I'm saying?
So for one, right? Because we're saying a whole bunch of ifs, right?
Right.
For one, we do know For one, what we do know is we know what we heard from Shakur Stevenson. Shakur Stevenson said he thought he was going to make the weight. And then at the last minute, he couldn't get those extra pounds off, right? So we do know from him that he thought he could still make the weight. Also, right, another thing that we do know, my guy, Jerome King, what we know, what Devin Haney had already set up. Devin Haney already was petitioning, right, and doing everything he could. This is way back. You know what I'm saying? This is way back when, after Teofimo Lopez after George Kambosos beat Teofimo Lopez, Devin Haney sole focus was on fighting for undisputed George Kambosos.
Correct.
Remember, George Kambosos was going back and forth. I'm gonna fight Devin Haney. No, I'm not gonna fight Devin Haney. I'm looking at Gervonta Davis. Now I'm looking at Vasyl Lomachenko. He going back and forth, and he picked Vasyl Lomachenko. Vasyl Lomachenko was the guy that was supposed to be fighting, and then the war happened, and Devin Haney moved in that slot.
Correct. So
way before, at that point in time, Shakur Stevenson's focus was not trying to move up to 135 at that point in time. Shakur Stevenson's whole focus was trying to unify at 130 at that point in time. Am I correct or am I wrong?
Yeah, based on what we know and what Shakur said, yes, that's correct.
Shakur Stevenson was trying to unify at 130 pounds at time, right? Correct. At that point in time. He did unify. He got the fight with Oscar Valdez. He unified at 130.
Correct.
Right? At that time, Devin Haney was sold up in a contract with George Kambosos.
Correct.
Right? So we're going to stop right there. So at that point in time, Shakur Stevenson, he could not just say, you know what? I'm going to go fight motherfucking, I'm going to petition for the WBO because I'm a WBO champ. I'm going to put my petition in and I'm going to make George Kambosos I'm going to make George Kambosos rematch. I'm going to make him have to move out of the way at this rematch because I'm fighting him. That's not how things work, dog. That's not how it works.
But that's not what I'm saying. He couldn't have moved Kambosos out of the way, but he could have stepped in front of Lomachenko right now, is what I'm saying.
So, okay, who do we know run the WBO?
So the promoters run the sanctioning bodies and not the sanctioning bodies?
No. When it comes to the WBO, we know that Bob Arum, right? We know that basically is, come on now, let's not try to play semantics all of a sudden. Like we don't know that the WBO, basically we joke and say that shit stands for what Bob ordered. We know that Bob Arum, right, is the guy behind the WBO. They like that. Bob Arum even came on Fred channel a long time ago, and he says, well, you know, I have a very great relationship with the WBO. When Fred asked him about that shit years ago, he was like, basically said, yeah, you know. So we know that. We also know that Bob Arum has a very, very close relationship with Vasyl Lomachenko. Bob Arum, one of his dreams before he passed away, he wants to see Vasyl Lomachenko become undisputed. Ain't no motherfucking way in hell Shakur Stevenson was going to be able to petition with the WBO and move Lomachenko to the side. Bruh, ain't no way in hell that shit was going to happen. They under the same promotional company. Bob Arum is running shit. We all know that. Shakur Stevenson wasn't going to be able to do that. You know what I'm saying, bro? So that's just that. Like I said, we know, right? People try to get technical. Well, the rule book of the WBO, if you go to page 125, and if you go down to line 15 of the WBO rule book, it said, bro, boxing don't go by the rule book. If boxing went by the rule book, we wouldn't even be talking about wanting to see a David Benavidez and Canelo Alvarez fight. We would be talking about who won that fight back when they fought. Simple as that, dog. So, I mean, it's cool to try to bring up, well, man, the rule book, we all know if you're a boxing fan, and what's happening with it, Reggie Owens in the building. We all know that if you've been watching boxing long enough, you know that they don't go by the rules. So all of that well, Shakur Stevenson, he could have did this and he could have sanctioned the WBO and then he would have been able to fight. He would have been able to move Vasil Lomachenko out of the way. It sounds good, bro, but that's not how it works. That's not how they're going to let it work. You know what I'm saying? If that was the case, I'm pretty sure it'd be easy. I mean, shit, we wouldn't even be talking about, man, why can't we get undisputed in this weight division? And why can't we get undisputed in that weight division? And why such and such can't fight such and such? If that was how it worked, we wouldn't have a problem. Just go by the rule book and everything will be ran smoothly. Unfortunately, that's not how boxing works. So, I mean, if anybody could show me, like I said, my dude, I respect your argument. You know what I'm saying? It was clever. But if you can bring up a time that's happened, right? A situation where that's happened, then you can prove me wrong.
Are you referring to as far as specifically with the WBO or any sanctioning body?
You can use any sanctioning body that you want to.
All right. Well, as far as removing people from fights, I mean, yes, you're right. I mean, we have seen Lomachenko step in front of guys for fights too. I mean, we've seen Lomachenko get the Luke Campbell fight in front of Devin Haney. We've seen that too. So, I mean, that makes sense. I mean, it does make sense in that aspect. You're right. You know what I'm saying? And do they always follow the rules? No. Do they always follow the rules? No. You're right there too. But I mean, and yeah, and all this is a bunch of ifs. All I'm saying is a bunch of ifs. And that's why I'm saying it's a stretch that Shakur ducked. That's why I'm saying it's a stretch, because none of us will know what actually happened and what actually took place. You know what I'm saying? None of us will know that. That's why I say it's a stretch. But these are questions that can be brought up.
I don't think it's a stretch. It's just false. It's a narrative. It's a made-up narrative. It's not a stretch. It's a made-up narrative. I mean, that's just what it is, plain and simple. You know, it's not a stretch. It's just a narrative. And like I said, it's witty. You know what I'm saying? It's witty because, like I said, if you're a debater or a lawyer, you can, you come up with shit like that. You know, I mean, but knockout, what's happening with it? But salute to you. Like I said, man, it's I hear what you're saying, but we know better. Knockout, what's happening with it?
Hey, what's good with you, bro? Salute to you, man. And that's Jerome. Well with it, Jerome. Salute, bro.
What's good, knockout?
Look, man, like this be my thing, right? And I be feeling what people saying. That's why I spent the first part of the show last night just asking people to quit changing what the definition of a duck is, depending upon who the fighter is. Like, that's a huge label to put on somebody. It's one of the most derogatory things that you can say about a fighter is you a fighter. Right. You a fighter that don't want no smoke, right? Like, so if we gonna be saying that about people, let's be consistent. You know what I'm talking about? Let's make the shit to where we can all understand it, or at the very least, even if your definition is different from everybody else, then have that same definition for everybody, bro. Like, don't change it because you like a fighter more than this fighter, or you hate a fighter more than you hate this other fighter. In the case of Shakur Stevenson and Devin Haney, like, I can't help but listen to them. It's like we don't want to listen to the people that are involved in the situation. Like, I heard Devin Haney say, "You ain't ducking me, and I ain't ducking you." I heard Bill Haney say, "Hey, yeah, when we meet up with Shakur, shit, we looking for him at 140. We looking for him at 147." I heard him say that shit publicly, bro. I heard him publicly say that shit. So to hear them say that, how can you duck a motherfucker that ain't trying to fight you right now? Like it's shit like that make me just question, like, are we doing this shit to talk boxing? Are we doing this shit to push narratives? Do we really love the sport? Like, what is this shit for? You know what I'm talking about? Like to hear fighters, bro, to hear them say, "Hey, we gonna get it in. We ain't ducking each other." To hear both the fighters and the team say, "Yeah, we looking at shit at 140, 147. Trill Bill even went so far as to say, shit, we get undisputed at 140, then he get undisputed at 135. Then we gonna move up to 147, get undisputed. He can move up to 140 to get undisputed, and then we'll meet up when ain't nobody got no advantages. You know what I'm saying? See, everybody want to catch Devin at a disadvantage, but we don't want to catch Shakur at a disadvantage. We want to fight him at full strength. So that'll be a super fight at 147. These are quotes, bro. This ain't me. Like, this is not me coming on here telling y'all some shit that I think. These are quotes, verbatim. And we hear this shit and we see this shit, and then we'll still say that Shakur is ducking Devin, and then it go both ways, because then you got people saying that Devin is ducking Shakur, and I'm just listening to him like, how you ducking a motherfucker that ain't even falling in the weight class yet, number one. But you same people that'll say that Shakur is being ducked by Devin Haney, but then when it comes to Monster Inoue and Stephen Fulton, and Monster Inoue was coming up to the division, you'll say, nah, Stephen Fulton wasn't ducking Monster Inoue. He just already, like, it's the change of energy that some of y'all have, bro, when it comes to what a duck is. When it's Errol Spence and Terence Crawford, and you an Errol Spence fan, right? You an Errol Spence fan, and you rocking heavy with Earl, you'll see the business of boxing. You'll be like, yo, he ain't fight Bud Crawford because Top Rank and PBC fight hard to make. They can't do business and shit. And as soon as Terence was free, Earl went after him. I understand the business of boxing, size of the street. That shit hard to make. You'll see it on that end. But then you're an Errol Spence fan, right? But then you're also a Devin Haney fan. So then you'll turn around in the case of Devin, and all of a sudden, the business of boxing don't matter no more. The deals that you signed don't matter no more. Now all of a sudden, everybody ducking Devin. You give a fuck if they on sides of the streets. You don't give a fuck if people already got fights and shit. You don't care about the business of boxing no more. But you just cared about the shit when you was riding for Earl, bro. You just cared about the shit when you was riding for Earl. But now that you put your Devin Haney lightweight hat on, now all of a sudden, business and size of the street and shit, that don't matter to you no more. Like that, this is the shit that I was talking about last night, and I felt like it's incumbent, since y'all are having this conversation, that I come up here and say the shit for people that didn't hear it, bro. Like, if we're going to be responsible boxing fans and responsible content creators at this shit, bro, we have to learn to keep the same energy, because it's so easy, bro, to just sit up here and make shit up just so you can try to be right all the time. Stand on something, bro. Quit being so fake and so easy to just switch sides because you like this guy more than that guy, and I'm riding with Earl, so over here the business matters, but shit, I like Devin too, so down here everybody ducking him in the business don't matter. Or I'm riding with Shakur so he can move up to the weight class, and automatically everybody ducking him and shit. But I'm riding with Stephen Fulton too, so Monster Inoue can move up, but he ain't ducking him. Like, stop that shit, bro. Or I like Jamal Charlo, so Canelo Alvarez, the business don't matter and shit. So, you know what I mean? Like, Canelo ducking Jamal, and he ducking Jamal, and I want him to fight Jamal. But then on the next hand, I rock with David Benavidez too, so fuck the business and fuck weight class and shit. Jamal Charlo ducking him too. Like, y'all just flip and flop and change y'all shit so much, bro. And the shit, it give me a headache sometimes, dog. Like, y'all gotta stop that shit, bro. You have to, otherwise you make the when you use a word so much, and I'll be quiet, Keith. When you use a word so much, bro, when you use a word like duck and you use it so much and you throw it around so much, it loses its meaning. It begins not to mean anything, so that when there's a real motherfucking duck, then people will still argue that shit. Like, it's because of shit like this that Terence Crawford fans still feel like they got a leg to stand on, bro. True. Because a real motherfucking duck, right, where you see it's a contract and you see the motherfucker decided not to sign and chose to do something else, people will still try to defend that shit because everybody changing their definition like the weather. You make them feel like they got some fugazi shit to stand on because we ain't consistent with our definition of the word. When you use shit too much, it mean less. So I think we need to all, bro. I challenge anybody. State what your definition of a duck is and stick to that for everybody, even when it's your favorite fighter, bro. Like, have your shit that you stand on. Like, y'all think I like going in on Tank Davis about that rehydration clause? Y'all think I like that shit? I don't like it, but I know how I feel about a rehydration clause, and I love boxing more than I ever like Tank Davis as a fighter, bro. And if I'm gonna say the shit about Conor Ben, what kind of fake ass shit would it be for me to just go in on Conor Ben like I did with his rehydration clause, go in with Canelo on his rehydration clauses, then Tank Davis do it, and I forget everything I said about rehydration clauses months before, bro. I lose respect for myself, bro. But I know some of y'all don't move like that, bro. So I'll be quiet. I digress. That's really all I got on the key.
No, I mean, I agree with everything you say. That's why, right? You can't, I don't like to just let people just say some shit and slide out. Okay, well, explain to me and back that up why you said it. If you can't, and most people, they can't. They use the duck word way too much. You know what I'm saying? They've changed the definition of the duck. Now, as far as Shakur Stevenson, if it was an instance to where now, right, Shakur win his fight, Devin win his fight, and Top Rank is looking to make that fight, right? And Shakur says, you know what? Nah, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to fight Devin now. I think that me and Devin will be a much bigger, it needs to marinate. Me and Devin will be a much bigger fight down the line. We'll meet up at 140 at 147. I don't really want that fight now. That's a duck. You know what I'm saying? That is a duck. The fight is at your doorstep, and you talking about you're going to take another route. That is a duck. What Terence Crawford did when they came and knocked on his motherfucking door, was beating his door down and shit, you know what I'm saying, like a bounty hunter. And that motherfucker ran in the back room and hid up under the goddamn bed and mattress and shit, was hiding and shit, shaking. There at his door knocking, hey, it's showtime. We're at your door. Terence Crawford, come out. And he hiding. And then, you know what I'm saying, he pop up in another fight right around the corner a couple months later. That is a fucking duck. What we talking about is not a duck. A man that's at a whole different division. You know what I'm saying? Both fighters said that they know they're not ducking each other. Now, all of a sudden, man move up, still ain't fought in that division, and he ducking. The other man that he supposedly ducking was signed, you know what I'm saying, had a signed contract, not to fight only one, but for 3 fights. None of them included that guy that was at the other weight division lower. Come on, man. My man Jay Grant says Jose Ramirez is a duck. He started to look like it, but
yeah, Jay Grant. That's what I'm talking. Shit like that, bro.
Like it.
Yeah, Jay Grant. That's what I'm talking about, bro. Like when motherfucker, like when Ryan Garcia was Devin Haney's mandatory and ordered to fight him and was in position and the champion wanted to fight him and he did something else. That's a duck, bro. Jaime Munguia having the ability to challenge Janabek for his WBO title, being ordered to fight him for his WBO title, but saying, nah, I'm good, and fighting some bum instead. That is a duck, bro. 2 people talking shit, but neither one of them sending no contracts and ain't been ordered to fight, and that's not a duck, bro, because they talking shit to each other. You might like the way one talk more than the other, but you can't call that shit a duck. And we damn sure can't say that Devin is ducking Shakur or Shakur is ducking Devin when out their own mouth they both told us they ain't ducking each other. Like, so we don't listen to them. We don't listen to the fighters no more. We just gonna make, like, bro, all right, y'all got that shit.
Cassandra Mason. I got a duck for Cassandra Mason. When Triple G did a post-fight press conference and said that he would never fight Jamal Charlo or Demetrius Andrade, and they asked him why, he said, well, it's other up-and-coming fighters that need a chance. That is a motherfucking duck. I'll never forget when he did that shit. I'll never forget when he said that shit. That's a duck. But yeah, moving along. I think we pretty much, cleared that up. I know if BFTB was on here, he'll have a whole lot to say about it. But salute to my man Jermaine King, though. And what I want to talk about real quick, right, is Steven Espinoza, because it's a lot of people. When I go down Twitter and I go on Facebook, there's a lot of people that was still regurgitating this June the 17th fight. And it's a lot of people that still think this Errol Spence and Terence Crawford fight is pretty much a done deal. I'm still seeing people. I haven't seen Ray Jackson on Twitter say, man, this is a great year. We got this fight, and we got Errol Spence and Terence Crawford, man. This turned out to be a hell of a year. I've seen people really think that news was official, that news was the truth. When, once again, I'm here to tell y'all that news is a flat out lie. Steven Espinoza, he spoke on the situation again. And I'm going to just read to y'all what he said about it. That way I don't misquote him. Let me pull it up. He says he's very optimistic over Errol Spence versus Terence Crawford, and they are getting closer. But there are still some obstacles before the fight is finalized. There's still obstacles before the fight can be finalized. He added that the June 17th date isn't set, and July is possible. Sound familiar, don't it? Went from June to July, optimistic, but they still have obstacles to go through. When I told y'all on my video, I said, people coming out with this June the 17th date, that date don't mean a motherfucking thing if they don't get the fight done, right? It's just another date. If the fight is not done, June the 17th is just another date. So why do I care about that date? Why does that date mean anything to me? It ain't my birthday. It ain't none of my kids' birthday. Ain't no, you know what I'm saying? Ain't none of my family's birthday. So why do I care about that June 17th date? That date don't mean shit if they don't get to fight. So my thing is stop dropping, oh man, the fight is this and that and we got a date. How the fuck you got a date if you don't even have a signed contract? Obviously, you know what I'm saying? It don't mean nothing. How about we start talking about first, we got to fight, and then let everybody know that we got a date. Because now, so swiftly, June 17th might be a possibility, but July, we're looking at July also. And my whole thing with this whole situation, right? It's the same exact thing that we did last time, right? This is like deja vu all over again. And my thing is, Errol Spence is the only one that's being affected by this. Errol Spence, hey, he better let them know. Y'all better motherfucking have me a contract signed very quick, because if they tell Errol Spence we still working and now we looking at a July date, if I'm Spence, I ain't going for that shit. Real talk. I'm definitely not going for that shit. Because I did this shit last time with y'all, and I still ain't had a motherfucking fight. Hey, man, I don't know. But if I'm Errol Spence, I'm on their motherfucking helmet. And the thing is, another thing before I pass the mic off is, why are y'all even going back and forth with Terence Crawford? I really don't understand. Why are y'all going back and forth with Terence Crawford? You negotiated with this man for like 8 months. Now y'all still talking about you still negotiating and you still got obstacles to get over. And what the fuck is going on? Like, at some point, I'm looking at Errol Spence and it's like, man, you letting this dude play with your whole career. You know what I'm saying? You letting this dude play you. Terence Crawford is not the end all be all. And so with that being said, for all the Bud Crawford fans, newsflash, this shows that Errol Spence is the one that's really pressing for the fight. Man ain't even fought yet. He's still holding on. You know what I'm saying? He's still holding on like a kid falling off a goddamn roller coaster for dear life, praying that he can get goddamn Terence Crawford in the ring. And y'all ignorant bastards is still running around talking about Errol Spence is ducking. Errol Spence don't want to fight. And I hate to bring Blue Blood up, but Blue Blood, he responded to a comment that was made. I was watching his live stream a couple nights ago. And somebody commented, if this fight ain't made, If Errol Spence doesn't take the fight this time around, that proves Errol Spence is ducking if he don't take the fight this time around. And Blue Blood's exact words was facts. That's facts, King. What? I had to pause and think about that shit. Wow. I'm going to leave it at that. All right, I'm going to just leave it at that. Anybody can take the man. Mic.
Look, bro, like I feel so disrespected by this fight, bro. And I say that because you just said that Steven Espinoza gave another date. Bro, it's only 12 months in a motherfucking year. They done told us the fight was August 2022, September 2022, October, November, and December 2022, January and February 2023, and now June and July of motherfucking 2023. That's 9 months, bro. 9 months out of 12 months, we done been told that the fight could happen somewhere within those 9 months, bro. I'm not, man, listen. They disrespecting us as fans. They need to just fucking fight. Or like you said, Earl need to move on and Bud can do whatever the fuck that he want to do. I don't care no more, bro. I used to be excited talking about this topic. Now, this shit is a headache, and this shit, it drains you. It makes you don't even want to talk about this shit no more. And as far as like the ducking and all that shit, if you don't know by now that Errol Spence is the one that's trying to make this fight, or you don't know by now that Bud Crawford is the one that ducked him, bro, like you just on some bullshit, bro. And there's no nothing in nobody. It just is what it is, bro. And if it hits you, it hits you. You know, it is what it is. But for a man to say he agreed to everything and then didn't sign nothing, bro, that's a duck. For a man to, he's the one that has had a fight in between while the other one ain't had no fights in between, bro. But Earl ain't fought since, like, it's coming up on a year, bro. Literally April 9th. No, April 16th, I think he fought. It'll be a year and 8 days since he fought, bro. In 8 days, it'll be a year since he fought. Bud done had a fight, fam. The person that blinked first was clearly him. And to say that Earl, if he don't take it this time, well, he already took it last time. Y'all think they sent Bud Crawford the shit they sent him without already having Earl agree to it? It's his people that's doing the fucking deal, bro. So he agreed the first time, clearly. Clearly he agreed the first time. So he didn't already agree the second time, because guess what they doing? They done did all this shit. They done went to the WBA and made sure they made Virgil and fucking Stanionis so Earl could keep his belt. They done went to the WBC and the IBF. They got everybody that's cool with him trying to fight Bud Crawford. But yeah, y'all will still tell me that he ain't trying to fight Bud Crawford. So why are they getting all these concessions from these sanctioning bodies then? Why ain't no mandatories being ordered? Why ain't Keith Thurman saying shit? What like, it's because Earl is doing exactly what he told y'all he was gonna do. He trying to make this fight, bro. But at some point, you can't force nobody to fight you. It's like if a motherfucker want to debate and shit, and I'm like, hey, you want to debate? They keep telling me yes, but keep pushing it back, keep pushing it back, keep pushing it back. Never want to come. Always changing at the last minute. It's at one point I gotta say, you know what? Fuck it, bro. I ain't finna email you no more. I ain't calling you no more. Clearly, you don't want to debate me. And then I just move on to the next. That's where Earl is at, bro. They like, how much more negotiating do you need? Y'all like a boxing contract. I understand, bro, that I'm not in the business, but how fucking hard is it, bro? How hard is it? Like, it take a year to negotiate some shit. They've been negotiating on and off since May of last year, dog. It is April. You mean to tell me it take a year to get a fight done, bro? That means one of the parties don't want a motherfucking fight, dog. And I clearly know who it is. So fuck all that other shit, man. I'm not trying to hear none of that, bro. And if you disagree, then you just on some fanboy shit, or you pushing some narratives and shit. Because anybody with eyes, anybody with any objectivity, anybody that's looking at this situation closely, bro, you know that Bud is ducking this man, bro, and that he's the one that's holding up the fight. Because it's Earl's people. They got the network that's making the deal, that's sending the offer. They're engaging him, bro, trying to get him to come over there and fight. He ain't sending them no paperwork. He ain't sending them no offers for a fight. They sending everything to him, bro. Again, just like the ducking shit I said earlier, some of y'all's logic, that shit be baffling me, bro. I don't be understanding, dog. I don't be understanding. That's all I got on it, bro.
Shit crazy. And I want to respond to my man Omega real quick, because I read your comment, right? Omega, I got a hell of a channel for you. I don't know if you already subbed to the channel, but sub to this channel. It's called Wilderness Cooking. Man, that's a dope ass channel. It's called Wilderness Cooking. Sub to that channel, Omega. Shit dope. Dude be doing some shit, man.
Hey,
But,
that's the Indian dude, right?
Nah, but he's like,
He like in a village though, right?
Yeah, in the village.
He
be
cooking for the
all the
yeah,
kids
that motherfucker can cook, bro. I'm subscribed to that
he
nigga.
all the kids
He
and
cook
shit.
like a motherfucker, man.
Yeah, bro. I be watching his shit all the time, bro. He be watching. I seen him cook a whole motherfucking bull, bro. He built a whole fucking pit and everything. Man, he be doing some shit, dog.
Nah, he put some fucking chickens in a tin can before, bro. Cooked them hoes in a tin can, dog. Like, what the fuck? And that shit came out looking good in a motherfucker, man.
Hey, he nasty with it, dog. Omega said he already subbed. Yeah, dude, okay. Hell, dog. But yeah, just off subject. But go ahead, anybody that want to take the mic.
Man, when it comes to Errol Spence and Terence Crawford, man, I don't believe that fight happens until they're across the ring from each other. That's where I'm at this point. I mean, this is just getting ridiculous, man. And, you know, it's sad that it's come to this point that I don't even care no more. Because at one point, this was the fight that everyone was arguing. Now, and honestly, I would say about a year or two ago, I was already at the point where I was done even arguing for either side. I was at that point 2 years ago. You know what I'm saying? But we all know what's happening. We all see who's making the moves to make the fight happen. It's clear. So, I mean, at this point, that's where I'm at. Like, I don't believe it's happening. They can do press conferences and all that. I still won't believe it's happening until they're across the ring from each other about to throw hands.
You on that type of time, huh?
Yes.
Yeah, what I was thinking, though, I seen the video earlier today. Bluebird doubled down, talking about he heard it from Alexis Roach himself that the fight is going to happen in June the 17th. But see, I started thinking, if they announce the fight April the 22nd, that's not even going to be a 9-week training camp for them boys. That's like 7-8 weeks. But this is what I got to say. I knew it was going to be some stuff when Terence Crawford said he's the puppet master, and he said people don't understand. It takes us back to, remember when Jack Johnson was trying to fight that heavyweight champ, and he had to get that man damn near everything just to get him in the ring. Also, the way when Floyd fought Oscar, he had to go 70-30. See, Terence Crawford, he knows in his mind, he knows it. He's not stupid. Like, when you a man, you know your opponent. You know whether or not, before you fight a person, you know whether or not this is going to be a good fight or, boy, I might have to pull out all the stops. You already know. You can size up your opponent. I did when I used to box, but Terence knows he been riding high for a year and a half off the Errol Spence. He's been riding his whole career at 147 off of Errol Spence. If he gets in this fight in Earl and he loses, all this that he's been talking for the last few years is all for naught. And he know his stardom is going to take a hit. So Terence, he really doesn't want this fight because he feel like he can make more money not making the fight. So, but if Terence does take this fight, he's going to end up, now watch what I tell you now. If Terence Crawford fights Errol Spence, he's going to end up making the majority of the money because that's what he's going to ransom it out to. That's why he's sitting here still playing this game, because he feels like Earl wants my belt. He wants my O. He wants my name. If he's going to take his legacy off of me, I'm going to charge him hell and high water for it. And that's what he's doing. He's sitting back, and you know he talked business with Floyd. So you know Floyd done put in there like, man, you know EJ, his dream is to be the first welterweight undisputed. When you sit there and let people know your weakness like that, then they can exploit it. It's about supply and demand. Earl could have been moved up to 154, but even after all the bullshit that Bud did last year, you see he's still hanging around. And that was even more confirmation for Bud. Because remember, Bud sat there and say, hell, it'd be 60-40 my way. People forget that Bud said that. But remember, he sat there and said, I'll take it 60-40 my way. But he gonna want to get the majority of the damn money before he give it up, because he know, I mean, this is his last big paycheck. After he get in there, Earl takes years off your boxing life. I don't care who you is. He broke up Sean Porter. He breaks up everybody he gets in the ring with. He's just a bruising, technically sound fighter. And he has a lot more skills people don't see. People always say he's one-dimensional. No, Earl's an Olympian that can fight many different ways. He just doesn't have to. That's why he said he could go back to bulldozing niggas because it's easier that way. Earl is a master at controlling the distance, cutting off the ring. He can keep, he has a specific jab, a spectacular jab, I mean. And Earl can break you down. He's the complete package. And Terence knows that. He's never been in a fighter like that. He has never been in a B+ fight. This man has did his whole career off B- and C+ fighters. And Terence knows if he get in there, he needs to get everything that he's going to get. That's the only way he's going to put it on the line. That's where he's sitting there waiting for the biggest payday. And he's going to want to get the majority of the money or he's not going to fight. I already know. He's not.
Well, I think I'll say this, right? You know, I know that we already heard that Errol Spence and Terence Crawford, they talked on the phone a long time ago. We heard that, and they said that they had agreed to a split. It's probably close to 50-50, if it ain't 50-50. That's what I believe, right? Also, the thing is like Errol Spence and Showtime, they got to draw some line. They got to draw a line saying, okay, look, if you don't sign the contract, we don't come to agreement by this date, we moving on. They cannot continue to wait on him, right? You cannot go through this again. Well, we still trying to get a deal done with Terence Crawford. So now we had a June date. Now we moving to July. Now we still trying to get a deal done. Now Errol Spence, now we moving to August. Well, we don't want August because we think that September is better for fight fans. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we don't need to do that. They need to draw a line with this nigga and say, look, this is what it is. Take it or move on. It's like, man, it's like they don't want to do that with Terence Crawford. He did it to y'all. He fucked y'all. He ran out the back door. So, man, it's kind of it's kind of crazy, man, because we still going through this same shit.
I say just go back.
I think it's unnecessary. But you know, it is what it is, man. But I got to get ready to get up out of here.
It's 7 o'clock. Shit.
Yeah, my man Jerome King. Did you have anything else before we get up out of here?
Oh nah, man. That was pretty much it, man. And like I said, salute to you, man. Love your content, man. Love your videos. You know what I'm saying? I'm watching. A lot of times I even when I get a chance, I'll watch your lives back. You know what I'm saying? I watch the playbacks when I get a chance. So, salute to you, man, and salute to everybody in the chat.
Appreciate the support.
Oh yeah, for
man,
sure.
Let me get in upper echelon, man. Before we get out of here, real quick, let me get your last words.
All right, I just like to say shalom and peace and blessings to all the kings and princesses out there in the chat. And Key, man, I'm just sitting back watching you grow, man. Congratulations on 26K, boy. You gonna hit that 100K next year, boy. I need to get back on my grizzly. I need to get back on my grizzly though. But they, like you said, they need to draw a line in the sand, man. But he's just gonna people only do what you let them do, man. And as long as they keep letting him do it, he's gonna keep doing it. But hell, it's 7:15. I'm gonna holler at you though, bro.
Yeah, I appreciate you, man. And y'all go sub to upper echelon. Y'all go sub to him. But yeah, man, it's kind of, this whole situation is getting repetitive. But I still put out the news. I still talk about it because people still want to know about it. And if it happened, I guess it all makes sense if it do happen. But it is what it is. But I appreciate everybody that came through. My man Arturo Martinez said June 17th falls on Juneteenth weekend. Yep. That's a great date if it go down. But anyway, don't get excited about nothing. William Old School, I see you in the building. Other than that, y'all smash the like button if y'all didn't hit the like button. And y'all know how I do, man. We're going to see Shakur Stevenson fight this weekend, some other fights, Bam Rodriguez. And yeah, y'all make sure that y'all have a happy holiday. Enjoy the weekend with your family, and we will be back. I appreciate everybody that came through, and y'all already know how I do. There you go, talking that boxing again, and I'm gone.